In a land kissed by the golden rays of the sun, there existed a civilization unlike any other. It was ancient Egypt, a land where gods walked among mortals, and the Nile River flowed as the lifeblood of the people. But beyond the pyramids and the hieroglyphs, there lay a realm of wonder and mystery, the realm of Egyptian mythology. Imagine a world where the sky was a vast canopy painted with stars, and every night, the gods themselves danced among them. This was the world of Egyptian mythology, where the stories were as rich and vibrant as the colors of a desert sunset. At the heart of Egyptian mythology lay the story of creation, a tale that sent shivers down the spine and filled the heart with awe. In the beginning, there was only darkness, a vast, empty void that stretched on for eternity. But then, out of the darkness emerged a primordial ocean, the waters of chaos from which all life would spring forth. And from the waters of chaos rose Adam, the first god, the creator of all things. With a mighty roar, Adam spoke into existence the gods and goddesses who would come to rule over the universe. There was Ra, the great sun god, whose golden chariot carried him across the sky each day, bringing light and warmth to the world. And there was Osiris, the god of the afterlife, who ruled over the realm of the dead with a fair and just hand. But perhaps the most beloved of all the gods was Isis, the goddess of magic and motherhood. Her beauty was said to rival that of the stars themselves, and her love for her husband Osiris knew no bounds. Together, they ruled over the land of Egypt with wisdom and compassion, bringing prosperity to all who dwelt within their kingdom. Yet, as with all tales of gods and mortals, there came a time of great struggle and sorrow. Set, the jealous brother of Osiris, grew envious of his sibling's power and sought to claim it for himself. In a fit of rage, Set betrayed Osiris, slaying him and casting his body into the waters of the Nile. Isis, heartbroken and grief-stricken, searched tirelessly for her beloved husband, gathering his scattered remains from the farthest reaches of the land. With her magic, she pieced together Osiris's body, breathing life back into him long enough to conceive a son, Horus, the falcon-headed god of the sky. And so began the epic saga of the contendings of Horus and Set, a battle of good versus evil that would echo throughout the ages. With the guidance of his mother Isis and the wisdom of his father Osiris, Horus embarked on a quest to reclaim his birthright and restore balance to the universe. The battles were fierce, the stakes high, but in the end, it was the power of love and family that triumphed over darkness. Horus emerged victorious, banishing Set to the desolate wastes of the desert and reclaiming his rightful place as the rightful ruler of Egypt. And so, the story of Egyptian mythology lives on, passed down through the generations like whispers on the wind. It is a story of love and loss, of triumph and tragedy, a story that reminds us of the timeless power of the human spirit to overcome even the greatest of challenges. As the sun sets over the horizon, casting its warm glow upon the ancient sands of Egypt, one can almost hear the echoes of the gods and goddesses, their voices carried on the breeze, whispering tales of a time long ago when magic and wonder ruled the land. And though the sands may shift and the centuries may pass, the stories of Egyptian mythology will forever remain etched upon the sands of time, a testament to the enduring power of the human imagination. In the shadow of the majestic pyramids, where the whispers of ancient pharaohs still echo in the winds, lies a treasure more valuable than gold, a treasure woven into the very fabric of Egyptian civilization. It is a treasure of stories, of gods and goddesses, of heroes and villains, a treasure known as Egyptian mythology. Picture yourself standing on the banks of the mighty Nile, the lifeblood of Egypt, where the sun kisses the waters each morning, painting the sky with hues of gold and crimson. It is here, in this land of wonders, that the importance and relevance of Egyptian mythology become abundantly clear. In ancient Egypt, mythology was more than just tales told around a fire. It was the heartbeat of the people, the foundation upon which their entire society was built. From the lowliest peasant to the mightiest pharaoh, everyone knew the stories of the gods and goddesses, for they were woven into the very fabric of everyday life. At the heart of Egyptian mythology lay a profound reverence for the natural world, a belief that every river, every tree, every creature was imbued with divine significance. The gods and goddesses were not distant beings, but living presences, intimately involved in the lives of mortals. Imagine the awe and wonder that must have filled the hearts of the ancient Egyptians as they gazed upon the sun rising in the east, knowing that it was Ra, the great sun god, beginning his journey across the sky. With each passing day, they saw the power and majesty of the gods reflected in the world around them, reminding them of their place in the grand tapestry of creation. But Egyptian mythology was not just a collection of fantastical stories, it was a moral compass, guiding the people on the path of righteousness and virtue. Through the tales of gods and goddesses, the ancient Egyptians learned the importance of honor, loyalty, and compassion. Consider the story of Osiris, the god of the afterlife, whose tragic fate served as a powerful reminder of the consequences of jealousy and betrayal. His murder at the hands of his own brother, Set, and the unwavering devotion of his wife Isis spoke volumes about the enduring power of love and redemption. And then there was Ma'at, the goddess of truth and justice, whose feather weighed the hearts of the deceased in the hall of judgment. Her teachings emphasized the importance of living a life of integrity and righteousness, knowing that one's actions would be judged in the afterlife. But perhaps the greatest lesson of Egyptian mythology was the belief in the eternal cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Just as the sun rose each morning to chase away the darkness, so too did the souls of the dead journey through the underworld, only to be reborn once more into the world above. In a world fraught with uncertainty and danger, Egyptian mythology offered hope, a beacon of light in the darkness, a reminder that even in the face of adversity, there was always the promise of renewal and rebirth. As the sands of time continue to shift and the echoes of the past fade into the distance, the importance and relevance of Egyptian mythology remain as strong as ever. Though the temples may crumble and the hieroglyphs may fade, the stories of gods and goddesses, of heroes and villains, will continue to inspire and captivate generations to come. For in the end, Egyptian mythology is more than just a collection of stories, it is a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. A legacy that reminds us of our shared humanity and the timeless quest for meaning and purpose in this vast and wondrous universe. Gather round, my friends, as I take you on a journey through the sands of time to a land where the gods walked among mortals and the pyramids reached for the heavens. This is the story of ancient Egypt, a civilization so grand, so magnificent, that its legacy still shines brightly in the annals of history. Our tale begins in the fertile valley of the Nile, where the river wends its way like a serpent through the desert sands, bringing life to the parched earth. It was here, thousands of years ago, that the ancient Egyptians first laid the foundations of their great civilization. Picture a land where the sun blazed fiercely overhead, casting its golden light upon the fields of wheat and barley that stretched as far as the eye could see. It was in these fields that the ancient Egyptians toiled under the watchful gaze of the gods, their backs bent beneath the weight of their labors. But theirs was not a life of hardship alone, for the ancient Egyptians were a people rich in culture and tradition. They were master craftsmen, skilled in the arts of architecture, sculpture, and painting. From the towering pyramids that pierced the sky to the intricate hieroglyphs that adorned the walls of their temples, their achievements were nothing short of awe-inspiring. Yet, for all their greatness, the ancient Egyptians were also deeply spiritual beings, guided by a profound reverence for the gods and goddesses who ruled over their world. From the mighty Ra, whose chariot carried the sun across the sky each day, to the wise Thoth, the scribe of the gods, their pantheon was vast and diverse, each deity holding sway over a different aspect of life. But perhaps the most awe-inspiring of all was the great Pharaoh, the living embodiment of divine power on earth. It was he who ruled over the land with a firm yet benevolent hand, his word as law, his will as destiny. To the ancient Egyptians, the pharaoh was not merely a king, he was a god in human form, a link between the mortal realm and the divine. As the centuries passed and the sands of time continued to shift, the ancient Egyptians left behind a legacy that would endure for millennia to come. Their monuments still stand proudly against the backdrop of the desert, silent witnesses to the glory of a civilization that once ruled over the sands of Egypt. But perhaps the true legacy of ancient Egypt lies not in its monuments or its treasures, but in the hearts and minds of those who came after. For the spirit of the ancient Egyptians lives on in the stories we tell, the art we create, and the dreams we dare to dream. Come closer, my friends, and let me weave for you a tale of ancient Egypt, where the gods walked among mortals and the Nile River flowed as the lifeblood of the land. In this land of wonders, mythology was not merely a collection of stories, it was the very heartbeat of society, the thread that wove together the fabric of everyday life. Imagine, if you will, a world where the gods watched over every aspect of existence, from the rising of the sun to the flooding of the river. This was the world of ancient Egypt, where mythology was not just a means of entertainment, but a sacred duty, a way of honoring the gods and ensuring the harmony of the cosmos. From the humblest peasant to the mightiest pharaoh, everyone in ancient Egypt knew their place in the grand tapestry of creation, thanks to the stories passed down through the generations. These tales served as a moral compass, guiding the people on the path of righteousness and virtue. Consider the story of Ma'at, the goddess of truth and justice, whose feather weighed the hearts of the deceased in the hall of judgment. Her teachings emphasized the importance of living a life of integrity and righteousness, knowing that one's actions would be judged in the afterlife. But mythology was not just about morality, it was also a way of explaining the mysteries of the natural world. The flooding of the Nile, for example, was not simply a result of seasonal rains, but a divine act orchestrated by the gods themselves. Through stories and rituals, the ancient Egyptians sought to appease the gods and ensure the continued fertility of the land. Yet perhaps the most important role of mythology in Egyptian society was its ability to provide comfort and solace in times of hardship. Imagine the fear and uncertainty that must have gripped the hearts of the people when the floods failed to come, or when famine and disease swept through the land like a plague. In these dark times, it was the stories of the gods and goddesses that offered hope, a glimmer of light in the darkness, a reminder that even in the face of adversity, the gods were always watching over them. And so, the people of ancient Egypt turned to their myths and legends for guidance and reassurance, finding solace in the belief that they were not alone in their struggles. Whether it was the tale of Isis and Osiris, whose love triumphed over death itself, or the epic saga of Horus and Set, whose battle for supremacy echoed the eternal struggle between good and evil, these stories served as a beacon of hope in a world filled with uncertainty. As the centuries passed and the sands of time continued to shift, the role of mythology in Egyptian society remained as vital as ever. For though the temples may crumble and the hieroglyphs may fade, the stories of the gods and goddesses will continue to inspire and uplift those who hear them, reminding us of the enduring power of the human spirit to overcome even the greatest of challenges. Gather around, my friends, and let me take you on a journey through the sands of time, to a land where the gods walked among mortals and the mysteries of the universe were woven into the very fabric of existence. This is the story of the evolution of Egyptian mythology, a tale of wonder, intrigue, and the enduring power of the human imagination. In the beginning, there was darkness, a vast, empty void that stretched on for eternity. But out of this darkness emerged a primordial ocean, the waters of chaos from which all life would spring forth. And from these waters rose Adam, the first god, the creator of all things. Adam spoke into existence the gods and goddesses who would come to rule over the universe, each one embodying a different aspect of the natural world. There was Ra, the mighty sun god, whose golden chariot carried him across the sky each day, bringing light and warmth to the world. There was Osiris, the god of the afterlife, who ruled over the realm of the dead with a fair and just hand. And there was Isis, the goddess of magic and motherhood, whose love for her husband Osiris knew no bounds. But as the centuries passed and the sands of time continued to shift, so too did the stories of the gods and goddesses evolve. New deities emerged, old ones faded into obscurity, and the myths themselves took on new meanings and interpretations. Consider the story of Horus, the falcon-headed god of the sky, whose battles with his uncles Set for control of Egypt became the stuff of legend. Over time, Horus came to symbolize not just the triumph of good over evil, but also the eternal struggle between order and chaos, light and darkness. Or take the tale of Ammonius Ra, the great sun god who rose to prominence during the New Kingdom period. As Egypt grew in power and influence, so too did the cult of Ammonius Ra, until he became one of the most important gods in the Egyptian pantheon, revered by pharaohs and commoners alike. But perhaps the most fascinating aspect of the evolution of Egyptian mythology is its ability to adapt and change with the times. As Egypt came into contact with other cultures and civilizations, so too did its myths and legends evolve to incorporate new ideas and beliefs. For example, during the Hellenistic period, the Greek conqueror Alexander the Great brought with him a new pantheon of gods and goddesses, blending Greek and Egyptian mythology into a rich tapestry of stories and traditions. The goddess Isis, for instance, became associated with the Greek goddess Demeter, while the god Serapis emerged as a fusion of Egyptian and Greek deities. And so, the story of the evolution of Egyptian mythology is not just a tale of gods and goddesses, but a reflection of the ever-changing nature of human society and culture. From the humble beginnings of Adam and the waters of chaos to the grandeur of Ammonius Ra and the glory of the New Kingdom, the myths of ancient Egypt continue to captivate and inspire us to this day. As the sun sets over the desert sands, casting its warm glow upon the ancient temples and monuments of Egypt, one cannot help but feel a sense of awe and wonder at the enduring legacy of this remarkable civilization. For though the gods may have long since faded into the mists of time, their stories live on, etched upon the sands of history for all eternity. Come, gather round, my friends, for I shall now take you on a journey back to the dawn of time, when the universe was but a swirling sea of chaos and the gods were but distant dreams in the minds of mortals. This is the story of the Theogony, the creation of gods and the universe, a tale of wonder and majesty that will fill your hearts with awe and your souls with longing. In the beginning, there was darkness, a vast, empty void that stretched on for eternity. But out of this darkness emerged a primordial ocean, the waters of chaos from which all life would spring forth. And from these waters rose Adam, the first god, the creator of all things. Adam stood upon the primordial mound, the only solid ground in the midst of the swirling chaos. With a mighty roar, he spoke into existence the gods and goddesses who would come to rule over the universe. From his breath came Shu, the god of air, and from his tears came Tefnut, the goddess of moisture. Together, they formed the foundation upon which the world would be built. But Adam was not content to create the gods alone. He longed for companionship, for beings to share in the wonders of creation. And so, from the sweat of his brow, he fashioned the first humans, shaping them from the clay of the earth and breathing life into their lungs. As the gods and goddesses looked upon their new creation, they marveled at its beauty and complexity. The sun rose in the sky for the first time, casting its golden light upon the world below, and the stars glittered like diamonds in the heavens. But the creation of the universe was not without its challenges, for the forces of chaos still lurked in the shadows, waiting to strike. Set, the god of chaos and disorder, sought to undo all that Adam had wrought, spreading fear and uncertainty throughout the land. And so began the epic struggle between order and chaos, light and darkness, a battle that would rage for eternity, shaping the destiny of gods and mortals alike. But through it all, Adam remained steadfast, his light shining brightly in the darkness, a beacon of hope for all who looked upon him. As the ages passed and the universe continued to evolve, the gods and goddesses took on new forms and new roles, each one contributing to the grand tapestry of creation. From the mighty Ra, whose chariot carried the sun across the sky each day, to the wise Thoth, the scribe of the gods, their presence was felt in every corner of the cosmos. But perhaps the most wondrous aspect of the Theogony was not the creation of the gods themselves, but the creation of the universe, the stars and planets, the mountains and rivers, the very fabric of existence itself. For in the beginning, there was nothing but darkness and chaos, but through the power of Adam and the gods, order was brought forth from chaos, light from darkness, life from nothingness. And so, my friends, as we gaze upon the wonders of the universe, let us remember the awe-inspiring tale of the Theogony, the creation of gods and the universe, a story that reminds us of the boundless potential of the human spirit and the enduring power of the divine. For though the gods may have long since faded into the mists of time, their legacy lives on in the stars above and the hearts of all who hear their story. Listen closely, my friends, for I shall now regale you with tales of creation, the myths that shaped the very fabric of the universe and gave birth to the gods themselves. These are the stories of Adam, Ra, Thoth, and Ammonius, mighty gods whose deeds are woven into the tapestry of Egyptian mythology. Let us begin with Adam, the first god, the creator of all things. In the beginning, there was darkness, a vast, empty void that stretched on for eternity. But out of this darkness emerged a primordial ocean, the waters of chaos from which all life would spring forth. And from these waters rose Adam, standing upon the primordial mound, the only solid ground in the midst of the swirling chaos. With a mighty roar, Adam spoke into existence the gods and goddesses who would come to rule over the universe. From his breath came Shu, the god of air, and from his tears came Tefnut, the goddess of moisture. Together, they formed the foundation upon which the world would be built. But Adam was not content to create the gods alone. He longed for companionship, for beings to share in the wonders of creation. And so, from the sweat of his brow, he fashioned the first humans, shaping them from the clay of the earth and breathing life into their lungs. Next, let us turn our gaze to Ra, the mighty sun god, whose golden chariot carried him across the sky each day, bringing light and warmth to the world. According to the myth of Ra, he was not just a creator, but the very embodiment of the sun itself. Each morning, Ra would rise in the east, driving his chariot across the sky until he reached the western horizon, where he would descend into the underworld, only to be reborn again the next day. But Ra's journey was not without its challenges, for each night he was forced to do battle with the serpent Apophis, the embodiment of chaos and destruction. With each passing day, Ra grew weaker, until at last, he was forced to call upon the other gods for aid. Together, they fought back the forces of chaos, ensuring that Ra could continue his journey across the sky for all eternity. Now let us turn our attention to Ptah, the god of craftsmen and architects, whose very thoughts gave rise to the world. According to the myth of Ptah, he was not just a creator, but the very essence of creation itself. With a single word, Ptah spoke the universe into existence, shaping the stars and planets, the mountains and rivers, with his divine will. But Ptah's greatest creation was yet to come, for it was he who fashioned the first humans, breathing life into their lungs and giving them the gift of speech. With his guidance, the ancient Egyptians learned the arts of agriculture and industry, building cities and temples that would stand for millennia to come. Finally, let us speak of Ammonius, the king of the gods, whose power knew no bounds. According to the myth of Ammonius, he was not just a creator, but the very essence of creation itself. With his consort Mut and their son Khonsu, the moon god, Ammonius ruled over the cosmos with a firm yet benevolent hand. But Ammonius' greatest gift to the world was his wisdom, for it was he who taught the ancient Egyptians the secrets of magic and divination, guiding them on the path to enlightenment and understanding. With his guidance, the people of Egypt flourished, their civilization reaching heights of glory and splendor that would never be matched. And so, my friends, as we marvel at the wonders of the universe and the mysteries of creation, let us remember the stories of Adam, Ra, Ptah, and Ammonius, mighty gods whose deeds shaped the very fabric of reality. For though their names may have faded into the mists of time, their legacy lives on in the hearts of all who hear their tales. Gather round, dear listeners, for within the ancient tales of creation lies a treasure trove of wisdom and wonder, a treasure that unlocks the mysteries of the universe and reveals the hidden truths of the human spirit. These are the stories of creation myths, brimming with symbolism and significance that resonate with our deepest emotions and aspirations. Imagine, if you will, a time when the world was young and the gods walked among mortals, shaping the very fabric of reality with their divine hands. In this primordial age, the stories of creation were not just fanciful tales, they were sacred truths, passed down from generation to generation as a testament to the power and majesty of the gods. Let us begin with the myth of Adam, the first god, whose emergence from the waters of chaos marked the beginning of creation itself. Adam stood upon the primordial mound, the only solid ground in the midst of the swirling chaos, and spoke into existence the gods and goddesses who would come to rule over the universe. But what does the story of Adam teach us about the nature of creation? At its core, the myth of Adam is a profound meditation on the power of the divine will to bring order out of chaos. In a world where uncertainty and disorder reign supreme, Adam serves as a beacon of hope, reminding us that even in the darkest of times, there is always the promise of light and renewal. Next, let us turn our gaze to the myth of Ra, the mighty sun god, whose daily journey across the sky symbolizes the eternal cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Each morning, Ra rises in the east, casting his golden light upon the world below, only to descend into the underworld each night, where he battles the forces of chaos and darkness. But what deeper truths lie hidden within the myth of Ra? At its heart, the story of Ra is a reminder of the impermanence of all things, of the eternal struggle between light and darkness that lies at the core of existence. Just as Ra is reborn each morning, so too are we given the opportunity to start anew, to cast off the shadows of the past and embrace the promise of a brighter tomorrow. Now let us consider the myth of Thoth, the god of craftsmen and architects, whose very thoughts gave rise to the world. With a single word, Thoth spoke the universe into existence, shaping the stars and planets, the mountains and rivers, with his divine will. But what does the story of Thoth teach us about the nature of creation? At its essence, the myth of Thoth is a celebration of the power of creativity and imagination to transform the world around us. Just as Thoth shaped the universe with his divine will, so too can we shape our own destinies through the power of our thoughts and actions. Finally, let us reflect on the myth of Ammonius, the king of the gods, whose wisdom guided the ancient Egyptians on the path to enlightenment and understanding. With his consort Mut and their son Khonsu, the moon god, Ammonius ruled over the cosmos with a firm yet benevolent hand. But what deeper truths lie hidden within the myth of Ammonius? At its core, the story of Ammonius is a reminder of the interconnectedness of all things, of the fundamental unity that binds us together as one. Just as Ammonius ruled over the gods and goddesses with wisdom and compassion, so too are we called upon to embrace our shared humanity and strive for a world of peace and harmony. And so, my friends, as we ponder the mysteries of creation and the significance of the myths that have shaped our world, let us remember the timeless wisdom that lies within these ancient tales. For though the gods may have long since faded into the mists of time, their legacy lives on in the hearts of all who hear their stories, inspiring us to reach for the stars and embrace the infinite possibilities of the universe. Come closer, my friends, and let me whisk you away to the ancient land of Egypt, where gods and goddesses reigned supreme and the Nile River flowed as the lifeblood of the land. In this realm of wonder and magic, the pantheon of Egyptian deities stood as a testament to the boundless creativity and imagination of the human spirit. Imagine a world where the sky was a vast canopy painted with stars, and every night, the gods themselves danced among them. This was the world of Egyptian mythology, where the stories were as rich and vibrant as the colors of a desert sunset. At the heart of this magnificent tapestry were the gods and goddesses themselves, mighty beings who held sway over every aspect of existence, from the rising of the sun to the flooding of the Nile. Each deity possessed their own unique powers and attributes, embodying the very essence of the natural world. Let us begin with Ra, the great sun god, whose golden chariot carried him across the sky each day, bringing light and warmth to the world. Ra was the supreme ruler of the gods, the very embodiment of divine power and authority. His presence filled the hearts of mortals with awe and reverence, for he was the giver of life and the bringer of light. But Ra was not alone in his divine majesty, for he was joined by a host of other gods and goddesses, each one as magnificent and awe-inspiring as the next. There was Osiris, the god of the afterlife, whose wisdom and compassion guided the souls of the dead to their final resting place. And there was Isis, the goddess of magic and motherhood, whose love for her husband Osiris knew no bounds. Yet, amidst the splendor of the divine court, there were also gods and goddesses of a more humble nature, deities who watched over the everyday affairs of mortals with kindness and compassion. Hathor, the goddess of love and beauty, whose gentle touch could soothe even the most troubled heart. Anubis, the jackal-headed god of mummification, whose steady hand guided the souls of the departed to their eternal rest. But perhaps the most beloved of all the gods was Horus, the falcon-headed god of the sky, whose battles with his uncle Set for control of Egypt became the stuff of legend. Horus was the protector of the pharaohs, the defender of the innocent, whose unwavering courage and strength inspired all who beheld him. As the centuries passed and the sands of time continued to shift, so too did the stories of the gods and goddesses evolve. New deities emerged, old ones faded into obscurity, and the myths themselves took on new meanings and interpretations. Yet, through it all, the gods and goddesses of ancient Egypt remained a source of inspiration and wonder, their stories woven into the very fabric of Egyptian society. From the mightiest pharaoh to the lowliest peasant, everyone knew the names and deeds of the gods, for they were a part of everyday life. And so, my friends, as we gaze upon the magnificent temples and monuments of ancient Egypt, let us remember the gods and goddesses who once walked among us. For though the sands may shift and the centuries may pass, the stories of the Egyptian deities will forever remain etched upon the sands of time, a testament to the enduring power of the human imagination and the boundless depths of the divine. Come, gather round, my friends, for I shall now lead you on a journey into the realm of gods and goddesses, mighty beings whose stories have echoed through the ages, shaping the very fabric of reality itself. These are the major deities of ancient Egypt, whose power and majesty inspired awe and reverence in the hearts of mortals. Let us begin our journey with Ra, the mighty sun god, whose golden chariot carried him across the sky each day, bringing light and warmth to the world. Ra was not just a god, he was the very embodiment of the sun itself, the giver of life and the bringer of light. With his radiant presence, Ra banished the darkness of night, filling the hearts of mortals with hope and wonder. But Ra was not alone in his divine splendor, for he was joined by a host of other gods and goddesses, each one as magnificent and awe-inspiring as the next. Among them was Osiris, the god of the afterlife, whose wisdom and compassion guided the souls of the dead to their final resting place. Osiris was a beloved figure among the ancient Egyptians, revered for his kindness and generosity towards the departed. And then there was Isis, the goddess of magic and motherhood, whose love for her husband Osiris knew no bounds. Isis was a symbol of strength and resilience, a beacon of hope in times of darkness. With her unwavering devotion, she sought to bring her husband back from the dead, performing acts of magic and sorcery that astounded even the gods themselves. Yet amidst the grandeur of the divine court, there were also gods and goddesses of a more humble nature, deities who watched over the everyday affairs of mortals with kindness and compassion. Hathor, the goddess of love and beauty, whose gentle touch could soothe even the most troubled heart. Anubis, the jackal-headed god of mummification, whose steady hand guided the souls of the departed to their eternal rest. But perhaps the most beloved of all the gods was Horus, the falcon-headed god of the sky, whose battles with his uncle Set for control of Egypt became the stuff of legend. Horus was the protector of the pharaohs, the defender of the innocent, whose unwavering courage and strength inspired all who beheld him. With his mighty wings spread wide, Horus soared through the heavens, his piercing gaze striking fear into the hearts of evildoers. As the centuries passed and the sands of time continued to shift, the stories of these mighty deities evolved, taking on new meanings and interpretations. Yet, through it all, the gods and goddesses of ancient Egypt remained a source of inspiration and wonder, their stories woven into the very fabric of Egyptian society. For though the temples may crumble and the hieroglyphs may fade, the legacy of these majestic beings lives on in the hearts of all who hear their tales. And so, my friends, as we stand in awe before the magnificent monuments of ancient Egypt, let us remember the gods and goddesses who once walked among us, and honor their memory with reverence and gratitude. Come closer, my friends, and let me share with you the awe-inspiring tale of Ra, the mighty sun god whose radiance illuminated the world and whose power knew no bounds. This is the story of Ra, the bringer of light and life, whose journey across the sky each day captivated the hearts of mortals and gods alike. In the beginning, when the world was but a swirling sea of chaos and darkness, Ra emerged from the depths of the primordial ocean, his brilliance piercing the shadows and banishing the night. With each step, he brought order to the chaos, shaping the very fabric of reality with his divine presence. Ra stood tall and proud, his form radiant with the light of 1,000 suns. His golden chariot blazed across the sky, pulled by 4 mighty horses whose hooves thundered against the clouds. With each passing moment, Ra's light grew stronger, casting its warm glow upon the land below and filling the hearts of mortals with hope and wonder. But Ra's journey was not without its challenges, for each night he was forced to descend into the underworld, where he battled the forces of chaos and darkness to ensure the safety of the world. With each passing day, Ra grew weaker, his light dimming as the darkness threatened to consume him. Yet, Despite the dangers that lurked in the shadows, Ra pressed on, his resolve unwavering, his determination unyielding. For he knew that his journey was not just a duty, it was a sacred mission, a testament to the power of the divine to overcome even the greatest of challenges. And so, as the sun rose in the east each morning, casting its golden rays upon the world below, mortals looked up in awe and wonder, their hearts filled with gratitude for the gift of light and life that Ra bestowed upon them. For Ra was not just a god, he was a symbol of hope, a beacon of light in a world filled with darkness. But Ra's journey was not just a physical one, it was also a spiritual one, a journey of self-discovery and enlightenment. For as he traversed the heavens, Ra came to understand the true nature of his divine power, the depths of his own strength and courage. And so, my friends, as we bask in the warm glow of the sun and feel its comforting embrace upon our skin, let us remember the awe-inspiring tale of Ra, the mighty sun god whose journey across the sky reminds us of the enduring power of the human spirit to overcome even the greatest of challenges. For though the night may be long and the shadows may be deep, the light of Ra will always shine brightly, guiding us on our journey through the darkness and into the light. Come, gather round, my friends, and let me regale you with the mesmerizing tale of Osiris, the god of the afterlife, the bringer of peace and eternal rest to the souls of the departed. This is the story of Osiris, whose wisdom and compassion guided the ancient Egyptians on their journey to the realm beyond. In the ancient land of Egypt, amidst the golden sands and majestic pyramids, there lived a god unlike any other, a god whose name was spoken with reverence and awe by all who knew it. His name was Osiris, and he was the embodiment of all that was good and just in the world. Osiris was not just a god, he was a king, ruling over the realm of the dead with a fair and just hand. His kingdom stretched across the vast expanse of the underworld, where the souls of the departed found solace and peace in the afterlife. But Osiris's journey to kingship was not an easy one, for he faced many trials and tribulations along the way. His brother, Set, harbored jealousy and resentment towards Osiris, longing to usurp his throne and claim dominion over Egypt for himself. And so, in a moment of treachery and deceit, Set lured Osiris into a trap, imprisoning him within a coffin and casting him into the depths of the Nile River. For days and nights, Osiris lay trapped in the darkness, his soul weighed down by sorrow and despair. But Osiris's story does not end there, for even in the darkest of times, there is always the promise of light and redemption. With the help of his devoted wife, Isis, and her sister, Nephthys, Osiris was rescued from the depths of the river and brought back to life. Yet, though Osiris had been restored to the land of the living, he knew that his true destiny lay in the realm of the dead. And so, with a heavy heart, he bid farewell to his beloved wife and son, Horus, and returned to the underworld to take his rightful place as king. But Osiris's journey was not just a personal one, it was also a symbol of hope and redemption for all who followed in his footsteps. For Osiris taught the ancient Egyptians that death was not the end, but merely a transition to a new beginning, a journey to the realm beyond where the soul would find eternal peace and rest. And so, as the sun set over the desert sands and the stars twinkled in the night sky, the people of Egypt looked to Osiris as a beacon of hope in their darkest hour. For though life may be fleeting and death may come for us all, the legacy of Osiris lives on in the hearts of all who believe in the power of love, redemption, and eternal life. And so, my friends, as we ponder the mysteries of the afterlife and the enduring legacy of Osiris, let us remember that even in the darkest of times, there is always the promise of light and redemption. For Osiris has shown us that death is not the end, but merely a doorway to a new beginning, a journey to the realm beyond where the soul will find eternal peace and rest. Come closer, dear friends, and let me transport you to the realm of ancient Egypt, where the enchanting tale of Isis, the goddess of magic and motherhood, unfolds like a captivating spell woven into the very fabric of the universe. This is the story of Isis, a tale of love, sacrifice, and the boundless power of the maternal instinct. In the golden age of Egypt, amidst the whispers of the Nile and the rustle of palm fronds, there lived a goddess whose beauty and grace were matched only by her extraordinary powers. Her name was Isis, and she was revered by mortals and gods alike for her mastery of magic and her boundless compassion. But Isis's story begins not with grandeur and splendor, but with a humble beginning, a beginning filled with love and longing. For you see, Isis was not just a goddess, she was also a devoted wife and mother, whose love for her husband Osiris and her son Horus knew no bounds. It was Isis's love for her husband that set the stage for her most daring and miraculous feats. When Osiris was betrayed and imprisoned by his jealous brother Set, it was Isis who embarked on a perilous journey to rescue him from the clutches of darkness. With her cunning and resourcefulness, Isis outwitted the forces of evil and freed Osiris from his watery prison. But Isis's journey did not end there, for she knew that her beloved husband's journey was far from over. With her powerful magic, Isis breathed new life into Osiris's body, restoring him to the land of the living and giving him the chance to reclaim his rightful place as king. Yet, even as Osiris returned to the world of the living, Isis's heart remained heavy with sorrow, for she knew that her husband's destiny lay not in the mortal realm, but in the realm of the dead. And so, with a heavy heart, Isis bid farewell to her beloved husband and returned to the underworld to take her place by his side. But Isis's journey was not just a tale of sorrow and loss, it was also a testament to the power of the maternal instinct to overcome even the greatest of challenges. For you see, Isis was not just a goddess, she was also a mother, whose love for her son Horus knew no bounds. With her unwavering devotion, Isis watched over her son Horus, guiding him with wisdom and love as he grew into a mighty warrior and protector of Egypt. Together, mother and son faced countless trials and tribulations, battling against the forces of darkness and chaos to ensure the safety and prosperity of their beloved land. But perhaps the most poignant aspect of Isis's story is her role as a symbol of hope and renewal in times of darkness. For you see, Isis was not just a goddess, she was also a beacon of light in a world filled with shadows, her magic and compassion serving as a guiding light for all who were lost and weary. And so, as the sun sets over the desert sands and the stars twinkle in the night sky, let us remember the timeless tale of Isis, the goddess of magic and motherhood, a tale of love, sacrifice, and the enduring power of the maternal instinct. For though the ages may pass and the sands may shift, the legacy of Isis lives on in the hearts of all who believe in the transformative power of love and compassion. Listen closely, my friends, for I shall now unveil the mesmerizing tale of Horus, the mighty sky god and god of kingship, a story that echoes through the ages, resonating with the power and majesty of the heavens themselves. This is the story of Horus, a tale of courage, destiny, and the eternal struggle between light and darkness. In the ancient land of Egypt, where the Nile flowed like a ribbon of life through the golden sands, there lived a god whose name was whispered with reverence and awe by all who knew it. His name was Horus, and he was the falcon-headed deity whose piercing gaze pierced the heavens and whose wings carried him across the sky. But Horus's story begins not with grandeur and splendor, but with tragedy and turmoil. For you see, Horus was the son of Osiris, the beloved king of Egypt, whose life was cut short by the treachery of his jealous brother Set. With his father murdered and his kingdom in turmoil, Horus vowed to seek justice and reclaim his rightful place as king. And so, with courage in his heart and determination in his soul, Horus set out on a quest to avenge his father's death and restore order to the land. With each beat of his powerful wings, Horus soared through the heavens, his eyes burning with righteous fury and his talons sharp and ready for battle. But Horus's journey was not an easy one, for he faced countless trials and tribulations along the way. He battled against fierce monsters and cunning demons, each one more formidable than the last, as he sought to prove himself worthy of his father's legacy. Yet, amidst the chaos and danger, there was also moments of hope and triumph. Horus discovered allies in the most unlikely of places, mortal warriors and divine beings alike who pledged their loyalty to his cause and fought alongside him in the battle against evil. But perhaps the most poignant aspect of Horus's journey was his inner struggle to come to terms with his destiny. For you see, Horus was not just a warrior, he was also a king, destined to rule over Egypt with wisdom and compassion, just as his father had done before him. With each victory and defeat, Horus grew stronger and wiser, his resolve unwavering as he faced the challenges that lay before him. He learned the true meaning of leadership and sacrifice as he guided his people through the darkest of times and led them towards a future filled with hope and prosperity. But Horus's journey was not just a personal one, it was also a symbol of hope and inspiration for all who followed in his footsteps. For you see, Horus was not just a god, he was also a beacon of light in a world filled with darkness, his courage and strength inspiring mortals and gods alike to rise up and fight for what is right. And so, as the sun sets over the desert sands and the stars twinkle in the night sky, let us remember the timeless tale of Horus, the mighty sky god and god of kingship, a tale of courage, destiny, and the eternal struggle between light and darkness. For though the ages may pass and the sands may shift, the legacy of Horus lives on in the hearts of all who believe in the power of justice, righteousness, and the indomitable spirit of the human soul. Come, gather round, my friends, and let me unveil the captivating tale of Anubis, the god of embalming in the dead, a story that echoes through the ages, resonating with the solemnity and reverence of the ancient Egyptian funeral rites. This is the story of Anubis, a tale of mystery, death, and the eternal cycle of life and rebirth. In the shadowy realm of the underworld, where the spirits of the departed roamed freely and the air was thick with the scent of myrrh and incense, there lived a god whose name was whispered with solemn reverence by all who knew it. His name was Anubis, and he was the jackal-headed deity whose presence guided the souls of the dead on their journey to the afterlife. But Anubis's story begins not with grandeur and splendor, but with humility and compassion. For you see, Anubis was not just a god, he was also a guardian, whose duty was to watch over the souls of the departed and ensure that they found their way safely to the realm of the dead. With his keen senses and unwavering devotion, Anubis stood watch at the gates of the underworld, his eyes sharp and his ears alert for any signs of danger. He greeted each soul with kindness and compassion, guiding them through the treacherous realms of the afterlife with wisdom and care. But Anubis's role was not just to guide the souls of the departed, he was also tasked with the sacred duty of embalming the dead, preparing their bodies for the journey to the afterlife. With his skilled hands and gentle touch, Anubis worked tirelessly to ensure that each body was preserved with the utmost care and respect. And so, amidst the flickering torchlight and the solemn chants of the priests, Anubis set to work, his hands moving with the precision and grace of a master craftsman. He cleansed the body with sacred oils and perfumes, wrapping it in linen bandages adorned with amulets and charms to protect it on its journey to the afterlife. But perhaps the most poignant aspect of Anubis's story was his role as a symbol of hope and comfort for the grieving souls left behind. For you see, Anubis was not just a god of death, he was also a beacon of light in a world filled with darkness, his presence offering solace and reassurance to those who mourned the loss of their loved ones. With his gentle demeanor and compassionate heart, Anubis comforted the grieving souls, offering them words of wisdom and guidance as they navigated the painful journey of grief and loss. He reminded them that death was not the end, but merely a transition to a new beginning, a journey to the realm beyond where the soul would find eternal peace and rest. And so, as the mourners gathered at the edge of the desert, their hearts heavy with sorrow and their eyes filled with tears, they found solace in the knowledge that their loved ones were in the loving embrace of Anubis, the guardian of the dead. For though the sands may shift and the ages may pass, the legacy of Anubis lives on in the hearts of all who believe in the power of compassion, empathy, and the enduring cycle of life and rebirth. Come, gather round, my dear friends, and allow me to weave for you the enchanting tale of Thoth, the god of wisdom and writing, a story that unfolds like the pages of an ancient scroll, filled with magic, mystery, and the boundless depths of knowledge. This is the story of Thoth, a tale of enlightenment, inspiration, and the eternal quest for wisdom. In the celestial halls of the heavens, where the stars twinkled like diamonds in the velvet sky and the air was filled with the sweet scent of incense, there lived a god whose name was whispered with reverence and awe by all who knew it. His name was Thoth, and he was the ibis-headed deity whose wisdom and knowledge surpassed even that of the mightiest gods. But Thoth's story begins not with grandeur and splendor, but with humility and curiosity. For you see, Thoth was not just a god, he was also a scholar, whose insatiable thirst for knowledge led him on a journey of discovery that spanned the cosmos itself. From the ancient scrolls of the libraries of Heliopolis to the hidden chambers of the pyramids, Thoth sought out the wisdom of the ages, learning the secrets of the universe from the very stars themselves. With each new revelation, his mind expanded, his understanding deepened, until he became the embodiment of all knowledge and wisdom. But Thoth's quest for knowledge was not just an intellectual pursuit, it was also a sacred duty, for he was the patron deity of writing and language, the keeper of the sacred texts and the guardian of the written word. With his keen intellect and divine insight, Thoth taught mortals the art of writing, enabling them to record their thoughts and dreams for future generations to behold. But perhaps the most profound aspect of Thoth's story was his role as a guide and mentor to mortals, offering them words of wisdom and guidance as they navigated the trials and tribulations of life. For you see, Thoth was not just a god, he was also a friend, whose compassion and empathy touched the hearts of all who sought his counsel. With his gentle demeanor and soothing voice, Thoth comforted the weary souls, offering them solace and reassurance in times of darkness and despair. He reminded them that knowledge was not just power, it was also a source of light and hope in a world filled with uncertainty and fear. And so, as the ancient scribes gathered in the sacred halls of the temples, their quills poised and their minds ablaze with inspiration, they called upon the name of Thoth, the god of wisdom and writing, to guide their hands and illuminate their thoughts. For though the ages may pass and the sands may shift, the legacy of Thoth lives on in the hearts of all who seek knowledge, enlightenment, and the eternal quest for wisdom. Gather around, my dear friends, and let me transport you to the enchanting realm of ancient Egypt, where the mesmerizing tale of Hathor, the goddess of love, music, and beauty, unfolds like a delicate lotus flower blooming under the golden rays of the sun. This is the story of Hathor, a tale of passion, creativity, and the boundless power of love. In the lush valleys and verdant fields of the Nile Delta, where the waters flowed like liquid gold and the air was alive with the sweet melody of birdsong, there lived a goddess whose radiance and grace were matched only by the beauty of the moonlit sky. Her name was Hathor, and she was the cow-headed deity whose presence brought joy and happiness to all who beheld her. But Hathor's story begins not with grandeur and splendor, but with a humble beginning, a beginning filled with love and longing. For you see, Hathor was not just a goddess, she was also a lover, whose heart overflowed with compassion and tenderness. In the celestial realm of the gods, Hathor caught the eye of Ra, the mighty sun god, whose golden chariot blazed across the sky each day, bringing light and warmth to the world. From the moment their eyes met, Hathor and Ra were drawn to each other like magnets, their love burning brighter than the fiercest desert sun. With each passing moment, Hathor and Ra's love grew stronger and deeper, until it blossomed into a love that transcended time and space. Their union was a symbol of harmony and balance in the cosmos, a testament to the power of love to conquer even the greatest of obstacles. But Hathor's story does not end with her love for Ra, for she was also a goddess of creativity and expression, whose music and dance captivated the hearts of mortals and gods alike. With her sweet voice and graceful movements, Hathor wove spells of enchantment that filled the air with joy and wonder. From the humblest village square to the grandest palaces of the pharaohs, Hathor's music and dance were celebrated far and wide, bringing laughter and happiness to all who heard her. Her melodies were like whispers of the wind, carrying with them the promise of love and beauty in a world filled with darkness and despair. But perhaps the most poignant aspect of Hathor's story was her role as a symbol of love and compassion in times of hardship and strife. For you see, Hathor was not just a goddess, she was also a healer, whose touch could soothe even the most troubled soul. With her gentle hands and warm smile, Hathor comforted the weary and the brokenhearted, offering them solace and reassurance in times of darkness and despair. She reminded them that love was not just a fleeting emotion, it was also a force of nature, a beacon of light in a world filled with shadows. And so, as the sun sets over the horizon and the stars twinkle in the night sky, let us remember the timeless tale of Hathor, the goddess of love, music, and beauty, a tale of passion, creativity, and the boundless power of love. For though the ages may pass and the sands may shift, the legacy of Hathor lives on in the hearts of all who believe in the transformative power of love and beauty. Come closer, my friends, and let me weave for you the captivating tale of Bastet, the goddess of home, fertility, and cats, a story that dances like moonlight on the Nile, enchanting and bewitching all who hear it. This is the story of Bastet, a tale of warmth, protection, and the sacred bond between humans and their feline companions. In the bustling cities and tranquil villages of ancient Egypt, where the scent of spices lingered in the air and the sounds of laughter echoed through the streets, there lived a goddess whose presence brought comfort and joy to all who sought her guidance. Her name was Bastet, and she was the cat-headed deity whose gentle purr could soothe even the most troubled soul. But Bastet's story begins not with grandeur and splendor, but with a humble beginning, a beginning filled with love and devotion. For you see, Bastet was not just a goddess, she was also a protector, whose fierce loyalty to her people knew no bounds. In the shadows of the moonlit night, Bastet watched over the homes and hearths of the ancient Egyptians, her keen eyes alert for any signs of danger. With her sharp claws and quick reflexes, she defended her people from harm, ensuring their safety and well-being in a world filled with uncertainty and danger. But Bastet's role was not just that of a guardian, she was also a goddess of fertility and abundance, whose presence brought prosperity and blessings to those who honored her. With her nurturing spirit and gentle touch, she blessed the fields with bountiful harvests and the homes with laughter and love. But perhaps the most poignant aspect of Bastet's story was her deep and abiding love for her feline companions, whom she cherished as her own children. For you see, Bastet was not just a goddess, she was also a friend to all cats, whose graceful presence brought joy and companionship to the lives of mortals. With her soft fur and playful antics, Bastet's cats roamed the streets of Egypt, bringing smiles to the faces of all who crossed their paths. They were beloved companions, cherished for their loyalty and devotion, and revered as sacred symbols of Bastet's divine presence. But as the years passed and the sands of time continued to shift, the people of Egypt came to see Bastet not just as a goddess, but as a beloved member of their own families. They honored her with offerings of food and drink, and celebrated her with festivals and ceremonies that filled the air with music and laughter. And so, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the stars twinkled in the night sky, the people of Egypt bowed their heads in reverence to Bastet, the goddess of home, fertility, and cats. For though the ages may pass and the world may change, the bond between humans and their feline companions remains as timeless and enduring as the love of Bastet herself. Come, gather round, my friends, for I shall now unveil the fascinating tapestry of lesser-known deities and their roles, a mosaic of divine beings whose stories are as varied and rich as the sands of the desert itself. This is the tale of the lesser-known deities, a story of mystery, wonder, and the hidden depths of the ancient Egyptian pantheon. In the shadowy corners of the celestial realm, where the stars twinkle like diamonds in the velvet sky and the air is thick with the scent of incense and myrrh, there dwell beings of power and majesty whose names are whispered only in hushed tones by those who know them. These are the lesser-known deities, whose roles in the grand tapestry of Egyptian mythology are as diverse and enigmatic as the desert sands. Among these lesser-known deities is Nephthys, the goddess of mourning and lamentation, whose sorrowful wail echoes through the underworld like the mournful cry of a grieving widow. Nephthys is the sister of Isis, the beloved wife of Osiris, and she weeps for her brother-in-law's tragic fate, mourning his loss with a heart heavy with sorrow. But Nephthys' role is not just that of a mourner, she is also a guardian of the dead, guiding lost souls through the treacherous realms of the afterlife with compassion and care. With her gentle touch and soothing words, Nephthys offers solace and comfort to those who have passed into the realm of the dead, helping them find peace and rest in the arms of Osiris. Another lesser-known deity is Khnum, the ram-headed god of creation and fertility, whose mighty hands shape the very fabric of reality itself. Khnum is the master craftsman of the gods, molding the clay of the earth into the forms of plants, animals, and even human beings with skill and precision. But Khnum's role is not just that of a creator, he is also a protector of the Nile River, whose life-giving waters sustain the people of Egypt and nourish the land. With his watchful gaze and steadfast resolve, Khnum ensures that the Nile flows freely and abundantly, bringing prosperity and abundance to all who dwell along its banks. Yet another lesser-known deity is Tauret, the hippopotamus-headed goddess of childbirth and fertility, whose gentle presence brings comfort and reassurance to expectant mothers. Tauret is the guardian of women and children, watching over them with a mother's love and devotion. But Tauret's role is not just that of a protector, she is also a healer, whose soothing touch and gentle demeanor ease the pains of childbirth and bring new life into the world. With her maternal instincts and boundless compassion, Taured offers hope and encouragement to all who seek her aid in their time of need. And then there is Bes, the dwarf god of protection and household blessings, whose jovial spirit and mischievous antics bring laughter and joy to all who encounter him. Bes is the guardian of homes and families, warding off evil spirits and bringing good fortune to those who honor him with offerings and prayers. But Bes's role is not just that of a guardian, he is also a friend, whose playful nature and infectious laughter bring warmth and light into the lives of mortals. With his dancing feet and merry gestures Bes reminds us that even in the darkest of times, there is always room for joy and merriment. And so, my friends, as we ponder the mysteries of the lesser-known deities and their roles in the grand tapestry of Egyptian mythology, let us remember that even in the shadowy corners of the celestial realm, there are beings of power and majesty whose stories are waiting to be told. For though their names may be whispered only in hushed tones, their presence is felt in every corner of the ancient world, guiding and protecting those who honor them with reverence and respect. Gather round, dear friends, and let me regale you with the mesmerizing tales of the gods and goddesses of ancient Egypt, a treasury of stories that dazzle like stars in the midnight sky and stir the depths of the soul with their timeless wisdom and wonder. These are the stories of the gods and goddesses, a saga of love, betrayal, triumph, and redemption that unfolds across the sands of time like a grand epic. Let us begin our journey with the tale of Osiris, the beloved king of Egypt, whose life was cut short by the treachery of his jealous brother Set. Osiris was a wise and just ruler, beloved by his people for his compassion and generosity. But Set, consumed by envy and ambition, coveted his brother's throne and sought to claim it for himself. In a cruel and cowardly act, Set lured Osiris into a trap and murdered him, scattering his body across the sands of the desert. But even in death, Osiris's spirit remained strong, and with the help of his devoted wife Isis, he was able to overcome the trials of the underworld and reclaim his rightful place as king. Next, let us turn our gaze to the radiant goddess Isis, whose unwavering love for Osiris knew no bounds. Isis was a beacon of light in a world filled with darkness, her gentle presence bringing comfort and solace to all who sought her aid. But when her beloved husband was taken from her, Isis's heart was consumed by grief, and she vowed to do whatever it took to bring him back. With her powerful magic and unwavering determination, Isis embarked on a perilous journey to the underworld, where she faced countless trials and tribulations in her quest to rescue Osiris from the clutches of death. And though she encountered many obstacles along the way, Isis's love for her husband never wavered, and in the end, she succeeded in bringing him back to the land of the living. Now, let us delve into the story of Horus, the mighty sky god and god of kingship, whose courage and strength knew no bounds. Horus was the son of Osiris and Isis, destined to rule over Egypt with wisdom and justice. But when his father was murdered by Set, Horus knew that he must rise up and claim his rightful place as king. With his powerful wings and keen intellect, Horus embarked on a quest to avenge his father's death and restore order to the land. He battled against fierce monsters and cunning demons, facing countless trials and tribulations along the way. But through it all, Horus remained steadfast in his determination to bring justice to those who had wronged his family. Finally, let us explore the tale of Hathor, the goddess of love, music, and beauty, whose gentle presence brought joy and happiness to all who knew her. Hathor was a symbol of warmth and compassion in a world filled with darkness and despair, her sweet voice and graceful movements enchanting all who beheld her. But Hathor's story was not without its trials, for she too faced challenges and obstacles on her journey through life. Yet through it all, Hathor remained true to herself, embracing her role as a healer and protector with grace and dignity. And though she may have faced hardships along the way, Hathor's love and compassion never faltered, shining like a beacon of light in the darkest of times. And so, my dear friends, as we bid farewell to the gods and goddesses of ancient Egypt, let us remember the timeless tales of love, courage, and redemption that they have left behind. For though the ages may pass and the sands may shift, the legacy of these divine beings lives on in the hearts of all who believe in the power of myth and magic. Come close, my friends, and let me transport you to the enchanting world of ancient Egypt, where the timeless tale of Osiris and Isis unfolds like a delicate lotus blossom blooming amidst the golden sands of the Nile. This is the story of love, sacrifice, and the eternal bond between two divine beings whose love transcends even death itself. Long ago, in the celestial realm of the gods, there lived Osiris, the beloved king of Egypt, whose wisdom and compassion were renowned throughout the land. Osiris ruled with fairness and justice, bringing prosperity and happiness to his people. But his greatest treasure was his beloved wife, Isis, whose beauty and grace were matched only by her unwavering devotion to her husband. Osiris and Isis were a match made in heaven, their love a beacon of light in a world filled with darkness and despair. Together, they ruled over Egypt with wisdom and compassion, guiding their people with a gentle hand and a kind heart. But their happiness was not to last, for Osiris's jealous brother, Set, coveted his brother's throne and sought to claim it for himself. In a cruel and cowardly act, Set lured Osiris into a trap and murdered him, scattering his body across the sands of the desert. When Isis learned of her husband's fate, her heart was consumed by grief, and she vowed to do whatever it took to bring him back. With her powerful magic and unwavering determination, Isis embarked on a perilous journey to the underworld, where she faced countless trials and tribulations in her quest to rescue Osiris from the clutches of death. Through the dark and treacherous realms of the afterlife, Isis journeyed, her heart filled with hope and her mind focused on her beloved husband. She battled against fierce demons and cunning traps, her courage never faltering as she pressed onward in her quest. And though she encountered many obstacles along the way, Isis's love for Osiris never wavered. With each trial she faced, her determination only grew stronger, fueled by the deep and abiding bond that existed between her and her husband. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, Isis reached the innermost chamber of the underworld, where Osiris lay in a death-like slumber. With tears streaming down her face, Isis used her magic to piece together her husband's scattered body, breathing new life into his limbs and restoring him to his former glory. As Osiris opened his eyes and beheld his beloved wife standing before him, his heart swelled with gratitude and love. Together, they embraced, their souls entwined in a timeless embrace that transcended even death itself. And so, my dear friends, the story of Osiris and Isis serves as a testament to the power of love and the enduring strength of the human spirit. For though they faced countless trials and tribulations, their love for one another remained unshakable, a guiding light in a world filled with darkness and despair. Come, gather round, my friends, and let me transport you to the ancient land of Egypt, where the epic saga of the contendings of Horus and Set unfolds like a mesmerizing tapestry woven with threads of courage, betrayal, and divine destiny. This is the story of two mighty gods locked in a fierce battle for supremacy, a tale of love, loyalty, and the eternal struggle between light and darkness. Long ago, in the celestial halls of the gods, there lived Horus, the noble sky god and son of Osiris and Isis. Horus was destined to inherit the throne of Egypt and rule with wisdom and justice, but his path was fraught with peril, for his uncle, Set, harbored dark ambitions and sought to claim the throne for himself. Set was a formidable adversary, his heart consumed by jealousy and his soul twisted by greed. He lusted after power and would stop at nothing to achieve his goals, even if it meant betraying his own family. And so, he challenged Horus to a contest that would determine who would ascend to the throne of Egypt and rule over the land. The contest was fierce and brutal, a test of strength, cunning, and divine power. Set and Horus clashed on the battlefield, their weapons clashing like thunder and lightning, their roars echoing across the heavens. But despite Set's formidable strength, Horus remained steadfast in his resolve, fueled by the love and support of his mother, Isis, and the memory of his father, Osiris. As the battle raged on, Set resorted to trickery and deception, using every means at his disposal to gain the upper hand. He transformed himself into a fearsome monster, his eyes blazing with fury and his claws sharp as daggers. But Horus was not so easily defeated, for he was guided by the wisdom of his mother and the strength of his father's spirit. With each blow he struck, Horus grew stronger, his resolve unbreakable in the face of adversity. He fought with courage and determination, knowing that the fate of Egypt hung in the balance. And though Set may have been a formidable opponent, Horus's love for his people and his determination to uphold justice gave him the strength to prevail. In the end, it was Horus who emerged victorious, his blade piercing Set's armor and striking him down with a mighty blow. With a roar of triumph, Horus claimed his rightful place as king of Egypt, his victory a testament to the power of love, courage, and divine destiny. But even in defeat, Set's thirst for power remained unquenched, his spirit consumed by darkness and bitterness. And though he may have been vanquished in battle, his legacy lived on, a reminder of the eternal struggle between light and darkness that raged within the hearts of gods and mortals alike. And so, my dear friends, the contendings of Horus and Set serves as a timeless reminder of the power of love, courage, and divine destiny to triumph over even the greatest of adversities. For though the road may be long and fraught with peril, those who walk it with faith and determination will ultimately find victory in the end. Come, gather round, my friends, and let me take you on a journey to a time long ago, when the gods of ancient Egypt walked among mortals and the fate of mankind hung in the balance. This is the tale of the destruction of mankind, a story of wrath, redemption, and the eternal struggle between gods and mortals. Long ago, in the golden age of Egypt, when the land was fertile and the Nile flowed with abundance, the gods looked down upon the earth and saw that mortals had grown wicked and corrupt. They had turned away from the path of righteousness, their hearts filled with greed and their minds clouded by darkness. The gods were filled with sorrow and anger at the sight of such wickedness, and they vowed to cleanse the earth of humanity's sins. And so, they unleashed a great flood upon the land, a torrent of water that swept away cities and villages, drowning all who dwelled upon the earth. The destruction was swift and merciless, the waters rising higher and higher until they swallowed the earth whole. Trees were uprooted, homes were washed away, and the cries of the dying echoed through the air like thunder. But amidst the chaos and devastation, there was one man who remained untouched by the flood, a humble farmer named Noah. Noah was a righteous man, beloved by the gods for his purity of heart and his unwavering faith. And so, they spared him and his family from the destruction that befell the rest of mankind. For 40 days and 40 nights, the floodwaters raged across the earth, until finally, the waters began to recede, leaving behind a world forever changed. The once fertile plains were now barren wastelands, and the mighty cities lay in ruins, their glory faded into dust. But amidst the destruction, there was also hope, for Noah and his family emerged from their ark, their hearts filled with gratitude and their spirits renewed. They knew that they had been spared for a reason, and they vowed to rebuild their world and honor the gods who had saved them from destruction. And so, they set to work, clearing away the debris and planting new crops in the soil. With each passing day, the land began to heal, and life returned to the earth once more. Birds sang in the trees, animals roamed the plains, and the people rejoiced in the knowledge that they had been given a second chance. But the memory of the destruction remained etched in their minds, a reminder of the consequences of sin and the importance of living a righteous life. And so, they vowed to honor the gods and obey their commandments, knowing that only through humility and obedience could they hope to avoid the wrath of the divine. And so, my dear friends, the tale of the destruction of mankind serves as a timeless reminder of the power of the gods and the consequences of human folly. For though the gods may be merciful, they are also just, and they will not hesitate to unleash their wrath upon those who stray from the path of righteousness. Gather close, my friends, and let me regale you with the awe-inspiring journey of Ra through the underworld, a voyage filled with peril, mystery, and the eternal struggle between light and darkness. This is the tale of Ra's descent into the realm of shadows, a story of courage, sacrifice, and the triumph of the human spirit. Long ago, in the land of ancient Egypt, when the sun blazed bright in the sky and the earth teemed with life, Ra, the mighty sun god, reigned supreme over the heavens. But as the ages passed and Ra's power began to wane, the forces of chaos and darkness grew stronger, threatening to plunge the world into eternal night. Determined to restore balance to the cosmos and defeat the forces of darkness once and for all, Ra embarked on a perilous journey into the depths of the underworld, a realm of shadows and secrets where only the bravest and most resolute souls dared to tread. As Ra descended into the darkness, the air grew thick with the scent of decay, and the earth trembled beneath his feet. He journeyed through winding tunnels and treacherous caverns, his heart filled with determination and his eyes blazing with the fire of 1,000 suns. But the path ahead was fraught with danger, for the underworld was a realm ruled by chaos and despair, where demons lurked in the shadows and monsters roamed freely. Yet Ra pressed onward, his resolve unshakable in the face of adversity, for he knew that the fate of the world depended on his success. As he journeyed deeper into the heart of darkness, Ra encountered many trials and tribulations along the way. He battled against fierce monsters and cunning demons, his strength and courage tested to the limit. But with each victory he won, Ra grew stronger, his spirit burning ever brighter with the fire of determination. But perhaps the greatest challenge Ra faced on his journey through the underworld was the darkness that lurked within his own heart. For as he delved deeper into the shadows, Ra confronted the darkest aspects of his own nature, the doubts, fears, and insecurities that threatened to consume him from within. Yet even in the face of such darkness, Ra refused to yield, for he knew that only by confronting his inner demons could he hope to emerge victorious. And so, with courage and determination, he faced his fears head-on, banishing the shadows that sought to engulf him and emerging from the darkness stronger and more resolute than ever before. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, Ra reached the heart of the underworld, a place of darkness so deep that even the bravest souls feared to tread. But Ra was undaunted, for he knew that he carried the light of the sun within him, a beacon of hope that could banish even the deepest shadows. With a mighty roar, Ra unleashed the full power of his divine radiance, illuminating the darkness with the brilliance of 1,000 suns. The shadows receded before him, fleeing into the depths of the underworld like frightened animals, and the forces of darkness were vanquished once and for all. And so, my dear friends, the journey of Ra through the underworld serves as a timeless reminder of the power of courage, determination, and the indomitable spirit of the human soul. For though the road may be long and fraught with peril, those who walk it with faith and courage will ultimately emerge victorious, their light shining brightly in even the darkest of nights. Come closer, my friends, and let me share with you the timeless wisdom and profound truths hidden within the myths and legends of ancient Egypt. This is the story of the moral and cultural lessons conveyed through myths, a journey into the heart of human experience, where the struggles of gods and mortals mirror our own, and the triumph of virtue over vice shines like a beacon in the darkness. In the land of ancient Egypt, where the sands whisper secrets of ages past and the Nile flows with the wisdom of the ages, the myths and legends of the gods and goddesses were more than just stories, they were sacred teachings, passed down from generation to generation, to impart wisdom, instill virtue, and guide the hearts and minds of the people. One such lesson can be found in the tale of Osiris and Isis, whose love and devotion transcended even death itself. Through their story, we learn the power of love to conquer even the greatest of obstacles, and the importance of loyalty and faithfulness in the face of adversity. When Osiris was slain by his jealous brother, Set, it was Isis who embarked on a perilous journey to rescue him from the clutches of death. Through her unwavering love and determination, she was able to restore Osiris to life, proving that love knows no bounds and that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope. But the story of Osiris and Isis is not just a tale of romantic love, it is also a lesson in the importance of justice and righteousness. Osiris was a just and wise king, beloved by his people for his fairness and compassion. His murder at the hands of Set serves as a reminder of the consequences of envy and greed, and the importance of living a virtuous life. Another powerful lesson can be found in the contendings of Horus and Set, where the struggle between light and darkness plays out in epic fashion. Through their battles and trials, we learn the importance of courage, determination, and perseverance in the face of adversity. Horus, the noble sky god, represents the forces of light and goodness, while Set, the jealous and ambitious god of chaos, embodies the forces of darkness and destruction. Their epic struggle serves as a reminder that the choices we make and the actions we take have far-reaching consequences, and that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope for redemption. But perhaps the most profound lesson of all can be found in the journey of Ra through the underworld, where the sun god confronts his own inner demons and emerges victorious. Through his journey, we learn that true strength comes from within, and that by confronting our fears and doubts head-on, we can overcome even the greatest of challenges. Ra's journey through the underworld is a testament to the power of courage, determination, and the indomitable spirit of the human soul. It teaches us that even in the darkest of times, there is always light to be found, and that by facing our fears with courage and resolve, we can emerge stronger and more resilient than ever before. And so, my dear friends, as we reflect on the moral and cultural lessons conveyed through the myths and legends of ancient Egypt, let us remember that these stories are more than just tales of gods and goddesses. They are timeless teachings that have the power to inspire, uplift, and guide us on our own journey through life. For though the world may change and the sands of time may shift, the wisdom contained within these ancient myths remains as relevant and powerful as ever, shining like a beacon of light in the darkness, guiding us towards a brighter future. Gather around, dear friends, and let me take you on a journey of discovery, a journey that spans the vast tapestry of myth and legend, weaving together the stories of ancient civilizations from around the world. This is the tale of comparison with other mythological traditions, a quest to uncover the similarities and differences between the myths that have shaped humanity's understanding of the world and its place within it. Our journey begins in the land of ancient Greece, where the gods of Mount Olympus ruled over the heavens with their unrivaled power and majesty. Here, we encounter Zeus, the mighty king of the gods, whose thunderbolts could shake the very foundations of the earth. Like Ra, the sun god of ancient Egypt, Zeus symbolizes the power of the heavens and the forces of nature, reigning supreme over all creation. But while Zeus and Ra may both be powerful sky gods, their personalities and roles within their respective mythologies differ greatly. Zeus is often depicted as a capricious and unpredictable deity, prone to fits of anger and jealousy, while Ra is revered as a wise and benevolent ruler, whose light brings life and warmth to the world. Next, let us journey to the ancient lands of Mesopotamia, where the gods of Babylon and Assyria held sway over the fertile plains of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. Here, we encounter Marduk, the great dragon-slaying hero who vanquished the chaos monster Tiamat and established order in the cosmos. Like Horus, the sky god of ancient Egypt, Marduk represents the forces of light and goodness, fighting against the forces of darkness and chaos. But while Marduk and Horus may both be heroic figures who battle against evil, their myths and legends convey different cultural and religious beliefs. In Mesopotamian mythology, the struggle between order and chaos is a central theme, reflecting the harsh realities of life in a land plagued by floods, droughts, and war. In contrast, Egyptian mythology emphasizes the harmony and balance of the natural world, with Ra reigning supreme as the benevolent ruler of the cosmos. As our journey takes us further afield, we encounter the gods and goddesses of ancient India, whose myths and legends are as rich and diverse as the tapestry of life itself. Here, we encounter Vishnu, the preserver of the universe, whose divine avatar incarnations uphold righteousness and justice in the world. Like Osiris, the god of the afterlife in ancient Egypt, Vishnu embodies the eternal cycle of death and rebirth, guiding souls on their journey through the realms of existence. But while Vishnu and Osiris may both be associated with death and rebirth, their myths and legends convey different cultural and religious beliefs. In Hindu mythology, the concept of reincarnation plays a central role, with souls being reborn again and again in accordance with their karma. In contrast, Egyptian mythology emphasizes the importance of the afterlife as a reward for a virtuous life lived on earth, with Osiris presiding over the judgment of souls in the Hall of Ma'at. Finally, let us journey to the ancient lands of China, where the gods and goddesses of the celestial realm watch over the mortal world with benevolent eyes. Here, we encounter the Jade Emperor, the supreme ruler of heaven, whose wisdom and compassion guide the destinies of gods and mortals alike. Like Isis, the goddess of magic and motherhood in ancient Egypt, the Jade Emperor embodies the nurturing and protective aspects of divine feminine energy. But while the Jade Emperor and Isis may both be revered as benevolent deities who watch over the world with care and compassion, their myths and legends convey different cultural and religious beliefs. In Chinese mythology, the concept of yin and yang is central, emphasizing the balance and harmony of opposing forces in the natural world. In contrast, Egyptian mythology emphasizes the importance of Ma'at, the goddess of truth and justice, whose teachings guide mortals on the path to righteousness. And so, my dear friends, as our journey of comparison with other mythological traditions comes to an end, let us reflect on the richness and diversity of human culture and belief. For though the myths and legends of ancient civilizations may differ in their details and interpretations, they all share a common purpose: to illuminate the mysteries of the cosmos and the human soul, and to inspire awe and wonder in the hearts of all who hear their tales. Come close, my friends, and let me transport you to the mystical land of ancient Egypt, where the sands whisper secrets of ages past and the gods walk among mortals. This is the tale of religious practices and rituals in ancient Egypt, a journey into the heart of a civilization where the divine and the mortal intertwined in a tapestry of devotion and reverence. In the land of the pharaohs, religion was more than just a set of beliefs; it was a way of life, woven into the very fabric of society and culture. From the humblest peasant to the mightiest pharaoh, all paid homage to the gods and goddesses who ruled over the heavens and the earth. One of the most awe-inspiring rituals in ancient Egypt was the annual flooding of the Nile, a natural phenomenon that was both feared and revered by the people. Each year, as the waters of the great river rose and flooded the fertile plains of the Nile Valley, it brought with it the promise of new life and abundance. To celebrate this sacred event, the people of Egypt would gather together in great festivals and ceremonies, offering prayers and sacrifices to the gods in gratitude for their blessings. The air would be filled with the sound of music and chanting, as priests and priestesses performed sacred rituals to ensure the continued fertility of the land. But the religious practices of ancient Egypt were not limited to grand festivals and ceremonies; they permeated every aspect of daily life. From birth to death, the gods and goddesses were invoked to bless and protect the people in their time of need. At the moment of birth, a newborn child would be welcomed into the world with prayers and offerings to the goddess Hathor, the divine patroness of childbirth and motherhood. The mother would be attended by midwives and priestesses, who would invoke the blessings of the gods to ensure a safe delivery. As the child grew, they would be initiated into the mysteries of the gods through rituals and ceremonies performed by the priests and priestesses of the temples. They would learn the sacred hymns and prayers, and participate in festivals and processions to honor the gods and goddesses. But perhaps the most solemn and awe-inspiring of all the religious rituals in ancient Egypt was the funeral procession and burial ceremony. When a loved one passed away, their body would be prepared for burial with great care and reverence by the embalmers and priests. The deceased would be laid to rest in a tomb filled with treasures and offerings to sustain them on their journey to the afterlife. The tomb would be adorned with paintings and inscriptions depicting scenes from the Book of the Dead, a sacred text that served as a guidebook for the soul in its journey through the underworld. As the funeral procession made its way to the tomb, mourners would gather to pay their respects to the departed, offering prayers and incense to the gods to ensure a safe passage to the afterlife. The air would be filled with the sound of lamentation and mourning, as the living bid farewell to their loved one. And so, my dear friends, as we reflect on the religious practices and rituals of ancient Egypt, let us remember the profound reverence and devotion that the people of this ancient civilization held for their gods and goddesses. For though the sands of time may have swallowed their temples and tombs, the spirit of their faith lives on in the hearts of all who hear their tales. Step closer, my friends, and let me whisk you away to the vibrant and enchanting world of ancient Egypt, where the air is filled with the scent of incense and the sound of music echoes through the streets. This is the tale of the major festivals of ancient Egypt, a journey into a realm where gods and mortals come together in joyous celebration and reverence. In the land of the pharaohs, festivals were more than just occasions for merrymaking; they were sacred rituals, deeply intertwined with the religious beliefs and cultural traditions of the people. Each festival held its own significance, honoring a specific deity or commemorating a particular event in the mythic cycle of the gods. One of the most beloved and eagerly anticipated festivals in ancient Egypt was the Festival of Osiris, a grand celebration held annually to honor the god of the afterlife and the judge of the dead. This festival marked the beginning of the planting season, when the Nile flooded its banks and brought life-giving water to the parched earth. The festival of Osiris was a time of great rejoicing, as the people gathered together to give thanks to the gods for their blessings and to seek their favor for the coming year. The air was filled with the sound of music and dancing, as priests and priestesses performed sacred rituals to ensure the fertility of the land and the prosperity of the people. But the festival of Osiris was not just a time for merrymaking, it was also a time for solemn reflection and reverence. At the heart of the festival was the reenactment of the myth of Osiris's death and resurrection, symbolizing the eternal cycle of life, death, and rebirth. In another part of Egypt, the city of Thebes was home to the grandest and most spectacular of all the festivals, the festival of Opet. This festival was held annually in honor of the god Amun-Ra, the supreme deity of the Egyptian pantheon, and was a time of great pomp and ceremony. The festival of Opet was a procession of breathtaking splendor, as the priests and priestesses of Amun-Ra paraded through the streets with statues of the god carried aloft on golden palanquins. The air was filled with the scent of incense and the sound of chanting, as the people lined the streets to catch a glimpse of the divine procession. But perhaps the most poignant and emotionally charged of all the festivals was the festival of Wepet Renpet, the New Year's festival. This festival marked the beginning of the annual flooding of the Nile, and was a time of renewal and rebirth for the land and its people. During the festival of Wepet Renpet, the people of Egypt would gather together to offer prayers and sacrifices to the gods, seeking their blessings for the coming year. The air was filled with the sound of hymns and prayers, as the priests and priestesses invoked the powers of the gods to ensure a bountiful harvest and a prosperous year ahead. But amidst the joyous celebrations and solemn rituals, there was also a sense of awe and reverence, a recognition of the divine forces that governed the universe and the importance of maintaining harmony and balance in the world. For the people of ancient Egypt, the festivals were not just occasions for feasting and revelry, but opportunities to commune with the gods and reaffirm their place within the cosmic order. And so, my dear friends, as we reflect on the majesty and significance of the major festivals of ancient Egypt, let us remember the profound reverence and devotion that the people of this ancient civilization held for their gods and goddesses. For though the sands of time may have swallowed their temples and tombs, the spirit of their faith lives on in the hearts of all who hear their tales. Come, my friends, and let me transport you to the wondrous realm of ancient Egypt, where the mysteries of the afterlife beckon and the journey of the soul unfolds like a magnificent tapestry woven by the gods themselves. This is the tale of beliefs about the afterlife and the journey of the soul, a journey of wonder, awe, and profound revelation. In the land of the pharaohs, the belief in the afterlife was not merely a hope or a dream, it was a fundamental aspect of existence, woven into the very fabric of Egyptian culture and religion. From the lowliest peasant to the mightiest pharaoh, all believed in the promise of eternal life after death, where the soul would journey to the realm of the gods and dwell among them for all eternity. But the journey of the soul was not an easy one. It was fraught with peril and uncertainty, with trials and tribulations that tested the courage and resolve of even the bravest of hearts. And so, the ancient Egyptians developed elaborate rituals and funerary practices to ensure a safe passage to the afterlife and ensure the soul's eternal rest. One of the most cherished beliefs in ancient Egypt was the concept of Ma'at, a divine principle of order, harmony, and truth that governed the universe and guided the actions of both gods and mortals. The soul of the deceased would be judged in the hall of Ma'at, where their heart would be weighed against the feather of truth to determine their worthiness for eternal life. But the journey to the afterlife did not end with judgment. In fact, it was only the beginning. After passing the judgment of Ma'at, the soul would embark on a perilous journey through the treacherous realms of the underworld, where it would encounter demons and monsters that sought to devour it. To protect the soul on its journey, the ancient Egyptians buried their dead with all manner of amulets, charms, and magical spells, designed to ward off evil spirits and ensure a safe passage to the afterlife. The Book of the Dead, a sacred text filled with prayers and incantations, served as a guidebook for the soul in its journey through the underworld, providing instructions on how to navigate its way through the maze of darkness and deception. But perhaps the most poignant and emotionally charged aspect of the journey of the soul was the reunion with loved ones who had passed away before. In the afterlife, the soul would be reunited with family members and friends, who would greet them with open arms and welcome them into the eternal embrace of the gods. For the ancient Egyptians, the afterlife was not just a distant dream or a fanciful hope, it was a reality, as tangible and real as the world of the living. And so, they lived their lives with a sense of purpose and meaning, knowing that their actions in this world would determine their fate in the next. And as the sun set on the golden sands of Egypt, casting its rays of light upon the tombs of the pharaohs, the souls of the departed would journey forth into the afterlife, guided by the wisdom of the gods and the love of their ancestors. And though their bodies may have crumbled to dust, their spirits would live on, shining brightly in the eternal light of the divine. Come closer, my friends, and let me take you on a journey through the wondrous realms of art, literature, and culture, a journey illuminated by the timeless legacy of Egyptian mythology. This is the tale of how the myths and legends of ancient Egypt have left an indelible mark on the world, inspiring and captivating generations of artists, writers, and thinkers across the ages. Imagine, if you will, a world where gods and goddesses walk among mortals, where the forces of light and darkness clash in epic battles, and where the mysteries of the cosmos are unveiled in all their splendor. This is the world of Egyptian mythology, a world of wonder and awe, where the gods reign supreme and the human spirit soars to new heights of imagination and creativity. From the grand temples of Karnak to the humble tombs of the pharaohs, the art of ancient Egypt is a testament to the enduring power and beauty of the mythic imagination. The walls of the temples are adorned with magnificent reliefs and paintings, depicting scenes from the lives of the gods and goddesses, the triumphs of the pharaohs, and the mysteries of the afterlife. But the legacy of Egyptian mythology extends far beyond the temples and tombs of the ancient world. It lives on in the hearts and minds of artists and writers throughout history, who have drawn inspiration from its timeless tales of heroism, love, and adventure. One of the most famous examples of the influence of Egyptian mythology on art and literature is the story of Cleopatra, the legendary queen of Egypt whose beauty and charm captivated the hearts of Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. Cleopatra's life has been immortalized in countless works of art and literature, from Shakespeare's Antony and Cleopatra to the iconic paintings of the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. But Cleopatra is just one example of the countless myths and legends of ancient Egypt that have inspired artists and writers throughout the ages. From the epic adventures of Isis and Osiris to the tragic love story of Anubis and Anput, the myths of ancient Egypt are a treasure trove of inspiration for storytellers of all kinds. In the world of literature, the legacy of Egyptian mythology can be seen in the works of authors such as H.P. Lovecraft, whose tales of cosmic horror are infused with the otherworldly imagery of the ancient gods and goddesses. Lovecraft's stories, such as The Call of Cthulhu and At the Mountains of Madness, are filled with references to Egyptian mythology, as he drew inspiration from its rich tapestry of imagery and symbolism. But perhaps the most enduring legacy of Egyptian mythology is its impact on popular culture, where its influence can be seen in everything from blockbuster movies to video games and comic books. Films such as The Mummy and Stargate have brought the wonders of ancient Egypt to life on the silver screen, captivating audiences with their tales of adventure and intrigue. In the world of music, the legacy of Egyptian mythology can be heard in the haunting melodies of composers such as Gustav Holst, whose orchestral suite The Planets features a movement dedicated to the god of war and chaos, Mars. Similarly, the band Led Zeppelin drew inspiration from Egyptian mythology in their song Kashmir, which features lyrics referencing the ancient gods and goddesses of Egypt. But perhaps the most poignant and touching expression of the legacy of Egyptian mythology can be found in the hearts and minds of people around the world, who continue to be inspired and awed by its timeless tales of love, heroism, and sacrifice. For though the sands of time may have swallowed the temples and tombs of ancient Egypt, the spirit of its mythology lives on in the hearts of all who hear its stories. And so, my dear friends, as we reflect on the legacy of Egyptian mythology in art, literature, and culture, let us remember the power of the human imagination to transcend the boundaries of time and space, and to weave a tapestry of wonder and beauty that will endure for eternity. Gather round, my friends, and let me whisk you away on a journey through time and space, a journey that will take us from the golden sands of ancient Egypt to the bustling streets of Athens and Rome. This is the tale of how the myths and legends of ancient Egypt influenced the neighboring civilizations of Greece and Rome, a story of cultural exchange, artistic inspiration, and the enduring power of storytelling. Our journey begins in the land of the pharaohs, where the gods and goddesses of ancient Egypt ruled over the heavens and the earth with unrivaled power and majesty. For thousands of years, the people of Egypt worshipped these divine beings, honoring them with grand temples, elaborate rituals, and magnificent works of art. But Egypt was not an island unto itself. It was part of a vast network of civilizations that spanned the ancient world, each with its own gods, goddesses, and myths. And so, as the borders of Egypt expanded and contracted, so too did its influence on the cultures and societies that lay beyond. One of the first civilizations to feel the influence of Egyptian mythology was ancient Greece, a land of poets, philosophers, and dreamers, whose imaginations were ignited by the wonders of the Nile. As Greek traders and travelers made their way to Egypt, they brought back tales of the gods and goddesses they encountered, weaving them into their own myths and legends. One of the most famous examples of the influence of Egyptian mythology on Greek culture is the myth of Isis and Osiris, a tale of love, betrayal, and redemption that captivated the hearts and minds of the Greek people. In the Greek version of the story, Isis is known as Demeter, the goddess of the harvest, while Osiris is known as Dionysus, the god of wine and fertility. But the influence of Egyptian mythology on Greek culture was not limited to just one story. It permeated every aspect of Greek life, from religion and philosophy to art and literature. The Greek historian Herodotus, often called the father of history, wrote extensively about the customs and beliefs of the Egyptians, marveling at their grand temples, elaborate rituals, and sacred myths. As the centuries passed, the influence of Egyptian mythology spread even further, reaching the shores of ancient Rome, a mighty empire whose legions conquered lands far and wide. Like the Greeks before them, the Romans were fascinated by the mysteries of the Nile, and they eagerly adopted many aspects of Egyptian culture and religion into their own. One of the most famous examples of the influence of Egyptian mythology on Roman culture is the cult of Isis, a popular religion that spread throughout the Roman Empire, attracting followers from all walks of life. The worship of Isis offered solace and comfort to the weary souls of Rome, promising eternal life and salvation in the afterlife. But the legacy of Egyptian mythology in Greece and Rome was not just limited to religious beliefs, it also left its mark on the arts, inspiring countless works of literature, sculpture, and architecture. The Roman poet Ovid, for example, drew heavily on Egyptian myths and legends in his epic poem Metamorphoses, weaving together stories of gods, goddesses, and heroes from both Egypt and Greece. And so, my dear friends, as we reflect on the influence of Egyptian mythology on neighboring civilizations, let us remember the power of storytelling to transcend boundaries and unite the hearts and minds of people across the ages. For though the sands of time may have buried the temples and tombs of ancient Egypt, the spirit of its mythology lives on in the stories we tell and the dreams we dream. Come closer, my friends, and let me share with you the wondrous tales of modern reinterpretations and adaptations of Egyptian myths, a journey through the realms of imagination where ancient gods and goddesses walk among us once more, their stories retold in ways both familiar and new. In the world of literature, there is perhaps no greater example of the enduring power of Egyptian mythology than the work of Rick Riordan, whose Kane Chronicles series transports readers into a world where the gods of Egypt still hold sway over mortal affairs. In these thrilling tales, siblings Carter and Sadie Kane discover that they are descended from a long line of magicians who are tasked with defending the world from the forces of chaos. With the help of the gods Horus and Isis, they embark on a quest to prevent the rise of the ancient god Set and save the world from destruction. But Rick Riordan is not the only author to be inspired by the myths of ancient Egypt. Countless other writers have drawn upon its rich tapestry of legends to create their own stories of adventure and intrigue. In The Red Pyramid by Elizabeth Wine, readers are transported to ancient Egypt, where a young girl named Telemachus embarks on a quest to rescue her kidnapped sister from the clutches of an evil sorcerer. Along the way, she encounters gods, monsters, and magical creatures, all drawn from the pages of Egyptian mythology. In the world of film and television, the influence of Egyptian mythology can be seen in a myriad of ways, from the epic adventures of the Mummy to the fantastical realms of Stargate. In these thrilling tales, audiences are transported to a world where ancient gods and goddesses walk among mortals, their powers and passions shaping the course of human history. But perhaps the most poignant and emotionally resonant reinterpretation of Egyptian mythology can be found in the world of music, where artists from all genres have drawn inspiration from its timeless tales of love, loss, and redemption. In songs like Walk Like an Egyptian by the Bangles and The Battle of Evermore by Led Zeppelin, listeners are transported to a world where the gods of Egypt still hold sway over mortal affairs, their voices echoing across the ages in songs of praise and lament. But perhaps the most touching reinterpretations of Egyptian mythology can be found in the world of art, where artists from around the world have drawn upon its rich imagery and symbolism to create works of breathtaking beauty and power. In paintings like Isis Mourning the Dead Osiris by Edward Burne-Jones and The Triumph of Cleopatra by William Eddy, viewers are transported to a world where gods and mortals walk hand in hand, their lives intertwined in a tapestry of fate and destiny. And so, my dear friends, as we reflect on the modern reinterpretations and adaptations of Egyptian myths, let us remember the enduring power of storytelling to transcend time and space, uniting us in a shared love for the wonders of the ancient world. For though the sands of time may have buried the temples and tombs of ancient Egypt, the spirit of its mythology lives on in the stories we tell and the dreams we dream. Gather round, my friends, for I have a tale to tell, a tale of mystery, wonder, and discovery that unfolds amidst the sands of ancient Egypt. This is the story of the important archaeological sites that dot the landscape of this storied land, a journey through time and space where the secrets of the past are waiting to be unearthed. Our journey begins in the shadow of the Great Pyramid of Giza, a towering monument to the ingenuity and craftsmanship of the ancient Egyptians. Built over 4,500 years ago, this magnificent structure is the last remaining wonder of the ancient world, a testament to the power and glory of the pharaohs who ruled over this land. As we stand in awe before this ancient marvel, we cannot help but feel a sense of wonder and reverence for the people who built it. What secrets lie hidden within its labyrinthine corridors and chambers? What mysteries await us as we venture forth into the heart of the pyramid? But the Great Pyramid is just the beginning of our journey. We have many more wonders to explore as we make our way across the land of Egypt. Our next stop takes us to the Valley of the Kings, a sprawling necropolis on the west bank of the Nile, where the pharaohs of the New Kingdom were laid to rest in elaborate tombs carved into the rock. Here, amidst the golden sands and towering cliffs, we discover the final resting place of some of Egypt's most famous rulers, including Tutankhamun, Ramses the Great, and Hatshepsut. As we descend into the depths of these ancient tombs, we cannot help but feel a sense of awe and reverence for the kings and queens who once ruled over this land with such power and majesty. But the Valley of the Kings is not the only archaeological site that holds secrets waiting to be uncovered. Our journey takes us next to the temple complex of Karnak, a sprawling complex of temples, chapels, and shrines dedicated to the worship of the gods and goddesses of ancient Egypt. Here, amidst the towering columns and towering obelisks, we discover the heart of ancient Egyptian religion, the place where the gods and goddesses were worshipped with grand rituals and ceremonies that spanned the centuries. As we wander through the labyrinthine corridors of Karnak, we cannot help but feel a sense of wonder and awe at the sheer scale and grandeur of this ancient monument. But perhaps the most haunting and evocative of all the archaeological sites in Egypt is the city of Amarna, a ghostly reminder of a brief but tumultuous period in Egyptian history. Built by the heretic pharaoh Akhenaten, Amarna was intended to be a utopian city dedicated to the worship of the sun god Aten. But the city's glory was short-lived, as Akhenaten's radical religious reforms sparked a backlash from the priesthood and the people, ultimately leading to the city's abandonment and destruction. Today, all that remains of Amarna are the ruins of its once great temples and palaces, a silent testament to the hubris and folly of its founder. As we stand amidst the ruins of Amarna, we cannot help but feel a sense of sadness and loss for the people who once lived and worshipped here. What dreams and aspirations did they have? What hopes and fears did they hold in their hearts as they built this city in the desert? But amidst the ruins and rubble, there is also a sense of wonder and awe at the resilience of the human spirit, the ability of people to endure and persevere in the face of adversity. For though the sands of time may have buried the temples and tombs of ancient Egypt, the spirit of its people lives on in the stories they left behind. And so, my dear friends, as we reflect on the important archaeological sites of Egypt, let us remember the lessons of the past and the mysteries that still await us in the sands of time. Come, dear friends, and let me regale you with tales of temples, tombs, and monuments, majestic structures that stand as silent sentinels to the myths and legends of ancient Egypt. These are not just ordinary buildings, but portals to a world where gods and goddesses walked among mortals, where the lines between myth and reality blurred, and where the mysteries of the afterlife were unveiled in all their glory. Our journey begins amidst the golden sands of the desert, where the Great Pyramid of Giza rises like a giant beacon, calling us forth into the heart of ancient Egypt. This magnificent structure, built over 4,500 years ago, is not just a testament to the skill and ingenuity of the ancient Egyptians, but also a symbol of their deep connection to the gods and goddesses they worshipped. As we stand in awe before the towering pyramid, we cannot help but feel a sense of wonder and reverence for the people who built it. What secrets lie hidden within its labyrinthine corridors and chambers? What mysteries await us as we venture forth into the heart of the pyramid? But the Great Pyramid is just the beginning of our journey. We have many more wonders to explore as we make our way across the land of Egypt. Our next stop takes us to the Valley of the Kings, a sprawling necropolis on the west bank of the Nile, where the pharaohs of the New Kingdom were laid to rest in elaborate tombs carved into the rock. Here, amidst the golden sands and towering cliffs, we discover the final resting place of some of Egypt's most famous rulers, including Tutankhamun, Ramses the Great, and Hatshepsut. As we descend into the depths of these ancient tombs, we cannot help but feel a sense of awe and reverence for the kings and queens who once ruled over this land with such power and majesty. But the Valley of the Kings is not the only place where the myths and legends of ancient Egypt come to life. Our journey takes us next to the temple complex of Karnak, a sprawling complex of temples, chapels, and shrines dedicated to the worship of the gods and goddesses of ancient Egypt. Here, amidst the towering columns and towering obelisks, we discover the heart of ancient Egyptian religion, the place where the gods and goddesses were worshipped with grand rituals and ceremonies that spanned the centuries. As we wander through the labyrinthine corridors of Karnak, we cannot help but feel a sense of wonder and awe at the sheer scale and grandeur of this ancient monument. But perhaps the most haunting and evocative of all the temples, tombs, and monuments associated with Egyptian mythology is the Temple of Luxor, a majestic structure dedicated to the god Amunias-Ra, the king of the gods, and his divine consort, the goddess Mut. As we stand amidst the towering columns and intricate carvings of Luxor, we cannot help but feel a sense of awe and reverence for the people who built this magnificent temple. What dreams and aspirations did they have? What hopes and fears did they hold in their hearts as they labored to create this monument to their gods? But amidst the grandeur and splendor of Luxor, there is also a sense of mystery and intrigue, a feeling that we are standing on the threshold of a world where myth and reality intertwine, where gods and mortals walk hand in hand, and where the secrets of the universe are waiting to be revealed. And so, my dear friends, as we reflect on the temples, tombs, and monuments associated with Egyptian mythology, let us remember the enduring power of these ancient structures to captivate our imaginations and inspire us to explore the mysteries of the past. For though the sands of time may have buried the temples and tombs of ancient Egypt, the spirit of its mythology lives on in the stories we tell and the dreams we dream. Come close, my friends, and let me take you on a journey through the ancient sands of Egypt, where temples, tombs, and monuments stand as silent witnesses to the myths and legends of a bygone era. These sites are more than just relics of the past. They are portals to a world where gods and goddesses walked among mortals, where the mysteries of the afterlife were unveiled, and where the human spirit soared to new heights of imagination and creativity. Imagine, if you will, standing before the Great Pyramid of Giza, a towering monument to the power and glory of the ancient pharaohs. As you gaze upon its majestic form, you cannot help but feel a sense of wonder and awe at the sheer scale and grandeur of this ancient structure. But the Great Pyramid is more than just an architectural marvel, it is also a window into the beliefs and aspirations of the people who built it. For centuries, scholars and archaeologists have studied the Great Pyramid in search of clues to its meaning and purpose. Some believe that it was built as a tomb for the pharaoh Khufu, while others speculate that it served as a symbol of the pharaoh's divine power and authority. But whatever its true purpose may be, there is no denying the significance of the Great Pyramid in understanding the mythology of ancient Egypt. As we journey deeper into the heart of Egypt, we come upon the Valley of the Kings, a vast necropolis where the pharaohs of the New Kingdom were laid to rest in elaborate tombs carved into the rock. Here, amidst the golden sands and towering cliffs, we discover the final resting place of some of Egypt's most famous rulers, including Tutankhamun, Ramses the Great, and Hatshepsut. But the Valley of the Kings is more than just a burial ground. It is also a treasure trove of ancient artifacts and inscriptions that shed light on the beliefs and rituals of ancient Egyptian society. From the intricately decorated walls of the tombs to the golden treasures that lie within, every aspect of the Valley of the Kings speaks to the enduring importance of mythology in the lives of the ancient Egyptians. Next, our journey takes us to the temple complex of Karnak, a sprawling complex of temples, chapels, and shrines dedicated to the worship of the gods and goddesses of ancient Egypt. Here, amidst the towering columns and towering obelisks, we discover the heart of ancient Egyptian religion, the place where the gods and goddesses were worshipped with grand rituals and ceremonies that spanned the centuries. But Karnak is more than just a place of worship. It is also a living testament to the enduring power of mythology in shaping the culture and society of ancient Egypt. From the grand processions of priests and priestesses to the elaborate rituals and sacrifices that took place within its sacred precincts, every aspect of Karnak speaks to the central role that mythology played in the lives of the ancient Egyptians. Finally, our journey brings us to the Temple of Luxor, a majestic structure dedicated to the god Amunias-Ra, the king of the gods, and his divine consort, the goddess Mut. As we stand amidst the towering columns and intricate carvings of Luxor, we cannot help but feel a sense of awe and reverence for the people who built this magnificent temple. But Luxor is more than just a temple. It is also a testament to the enduring legacy of Egyptian mythology in the modern world. From the countless tourists who flock to its hallowed halls to the scholars and archaeologists who study its every detail, Luxor continues to inspire awe and wonder in all who behold it. And so, my dear friends, as we reflect on the significance of these sites and understanding Egyptian mythology, let us remember the power of storytelling to transcend time and space, uniting us in a shared love for the wonders of the ancient world. For though the sands of time may have buried the temples and tombs of ancient Egypt, the spirit of its mythology lives on in the stories we tell and the dreams we dream. Gather round, my friends, for I have a tale to tell, a tale of intrigue, mystery, and scholarly debate that unfolds amidst the sands of ancient Egypt. This is the story of the interpretations and debates surrounding Egyptian mythology, a journey through the annals of history where scholars and experts seek to unravel the secrets of the past and unlock the mysteries of the gods and goddesses who once ruled over this land. Our journey begins in the hallowed halls of academia, where scholars from around the world gather to study the myths and legends of ancient Egypt. For centuries, these intrepid explorers have combed through the sands of time in search of clues to the meaning and significance of Egyptian mythology, interpreting ancient texts, deciphering hieroglyphics, and piecing together fragments of pottery and papyrus in their quest for knowledge. But the path to understanding is not always clear, and the interpretations of scholars often diverge, leading to lively debates and heated discussions that echo through the halls of academia. Some scholars argue that Egyptian mythology was a literal reflection of the beliefs and values of ancient Egyptian society, while others believe that it was a symbolic language used to convey deeper spiritual truths. One of the most hotly debated topics among scholars is the nature of the Egyptian gods and goddesses themselves. Were they real beings who walked among mortals, or were they simply symbolic representations of natural forces and phenomena? Some scholars argue that the gods and goddesses of ancient Egypt were revered as literal deities who possessed supernatural powers and abilities, while others believe that they were anthropomorphic representations of abstract concepts such as fertility, death, and rebirth. But the debates surrounding Egyptian mythology extend beyond just the nature of the gods and goddesses themselves. They also touch upon the meaning and significance of specific myths and legends. Take, for example, the myth of Osiris and Isis, a tale of love, betrayal, and redemption that has captured the imagination of scholars and storytellers for millennia. Some scholars interpret the myth of Osiris and Isis as a literal account of historical events, believing that Osiris was a real pharaoh who was murdered by his jealous brother Set and resurrected by his devoted wife Isis. Others see the myth as a symbolic representation of the cycle of life, death, and rebirth, a metaphor for the eternal struggle between order and chaos, light and darkness. But perhaps the most contentious debate surrounding Egyptian mythology is the question of its origins. Where did these myths and legends come from, and how did they evolve over time? Some scholars believe that Egyptian mythology originated in the fertile valleys of the Nile, where the ancient Egyptians worshipped the natural forces and phenomena that sustained their way of life. Others argue that Egyptian mythology was influenced by contact with other civilizations, such as the Mesopotamians, the Greeks, and the Romans, who brought their own gods and goddesses to Egypt and incorporated them into the local pantheon. Still, others believe that Egyptian mythology has its roots in even more ancient cultures, stretching back to the dawn of human civilization itself. But amidst the debates and disagreements, there is also a sense of wonder and awe at the enduring power of Egyptian mythology to captivate our imaginations and inspire our curiosity. For though the sands of time may have buried the temples and tombs of ancient Egypt, the spirit of its mythology lives on in the stories we tell and the dreams we dream. And so, my dear friends, as we reflect on the interpretations and debates surrounding Egyptian mythology, let us remember the power of storytelling to transcend time and space, uniting us in a shared love for the wonders of the ancient world. Gather round, my dear friends, for I have a tale to share, a tale of modern controversies that echo through the halls of history and reverberate in the hearts of those who seek to understand the mysteries of the past. This is the story of cultural appropriation and misrepresentation in the realm of ancient Egyptian mythology, a journey fraught with tension, conflict, and the quest for understanding. Our story begins in the bustling streets of a modern city, where tourists flock to museums and galleries to marvel at the treasures of ancient Egypt. Among them is a young woman named Maya, whose passion for Egyptian history and mythology burns bright within her soul. As Maya wanders through the halls of the museum, she is captivated by the beauty and splendor of the artifacts on display, the intricately carved statues, the golden treasures, the delicate hieroglyphics that adorn the walls. But amidst the wonder and awe, Maya cannot help but feel a twinge of unease, a nagging sense that something is not quite right. For you see, Maya has read about the controversies surrounding the portrayal of ancient Egypt in popular culture, the accusations of cultural appropriation, the allegations of misrepresentation, the debates over who has the right to tell the stories of a civilization long gone. As Maya delves deeper into the world of ancient Egyptian mythology, she finds herself drawn into a web of conflicting narratives and competing interpretations. On one side are the scholars and experts who argue for a more nuanced and respectful approach to the study of Egyptian history and culture, one that acknowledges the complexities and nuances of the past. But on the other side are the storytellers and creators who see ancient Egypt as a playground for their imagination, a land of exotic mysteries and fantastical adventures, ripe for the picking. For them, cultural appropriation is just a buzzword, a pesky obstacle standing in the way of their creative vision. As Maya grapples with these conflicting perspectives, she finds herself caught in the middle of a fierce debate, one that threatens to tear her apart as she struggles to reconcile her love for ancient Egypt with her desire to respect its cultural heritage. But amidst the turmoil and confusion, Maya discovers a glimmer of hope, a small group of activists and scholars who are fighting to change the way ancient Egypt is portrayed in popular culture. They are calling for more diverse and inclusive representations of ancient Egyptians, one that reflects the true diversity of the civilization they seek to honor. Inspired by their courage and determination, Maya joins their cause, using her voice and her passion to raise awareness about the importance of cultural sensitivity and respect in the study and portrayal of ancient Egypt. And so, my dear friends, as we reflect on the modern controversies surrounding ancient Egyptian mythology, let us remember the power of storytelling to shape our understanding of the past and to influence the way we view the world around us. For though the journey may be fraught with tension and conflict, it is also filled with the promise of discovery and enlightenment, a promise that we can only fulfill by working together to build a more inclusive and respectful future for all. Come close, my friends, and let me take you on a journey through the sands of time, where the echoes of ancient Egypt still linger, and the mysteries of its mythological heritage beckon us forth. This is the tale of the challenges faced in preserving and studying the rich tapestry of Egyptian mythology, a story of resilience, dedication, and the unyielding quest for knowledge. Our journey begins in the heart of the desert, where the ruins of ancient temples and tombs stand as silent sentinels to a bygone era. Here, amidst the shifting sands and crumbling stones, lie the remnants of a civilization that once worshipped gods and goddesses whose names are now but whispers on the wind. But preserving these relics of the past is no easy task, for the harsh desert climate and the ravages of time threaten to erase them from existence. As we wander through the ancient ruins, we cannot help but feel a sense of urgency, a race against time to save these precious artifacts before they are lost forever. But the challenges do not end there, for studying Egyptian mythology is like piecing together a puzzle with no picture to guide us. The ancient texts and hieroglyphics that adorn the walls of temples and tombs are like cryptic messages from a distant past, waiting to be deciphered by those brave enough to unlock their secrets. As we delve deeper into the world of Egyptian mythology, we encounter obstacles at every turn, language barriers, cultural differences, and the sheer magnitude of the task before us. But amidst the challenges, there is also a sense of wonder and excitement, a thrill of discovery that drives us forward in our quest for knowledge. One of the greatest challenges in preserving and studying Egyptian mythology is the sheer scale of the task before us. With thousands of years of history to unravel and countless artifacts to sift through, the sheer volume of information can be overwhelming. But amidst the chaos, there is also a sense of purpose, a conviction that every piece of the puzzle, no matter how small, brings us one step closer to understanding the mysteries of the past. Another challenge we face is the lack of funding and resources needed to properly preserve and study the artifacts of ancient Egypt. With budgets stretched thin and competing priorities vying for attention, it can be difficult to allocate the necessary resources to protect these treasures for future generations. But despite the challenges, there is also hope. For every obstacle we encounter, there are dedicated scholars, archaeologists, and enthusiasts who are working tirelessly to preserve and study the mythological heritage of ancient Egypt. They are the unsung heroes of our story, the ones who toil in obscurity, driven by a passion for knowledge and a love for the past. As we journey through the sands of time, let us remember the challenges faced in preserving and studying Egyptian mythology, and let us honor the dedication and perseverance of those who work tirelessly to unlock its secrets. For though the road may be long and fraught with obstacles, the promise of discovery and enlightenment awaits us at the end of our journey. A promise that we can only fulfill by working together to preserve and protect the treasures of the past for generations to come. Come, my friends, gather round one last time, for our journey through the sands of ancient Egypt has come to an end. But before we part ways, let us take a moment to reflect on all that we have learned and experienced together, and to consider the path that lies ahead. As we stand amidst the ruins of temples and tombs, surrounded by the whispers of the past, let us remember the wonders we have witnessed, the grandeur of the pyramids, the majesty of the temples, the beauty of the hieroglyphics that adorn the walls. Let us cherish these memories, for they are the treasures that we carry with us on our journey through life. But our journey does not end here, my friends, for there is still much work to be done. The mysteries of ancient Egypt are vast and deep, and there are still countless secrets waiting to be uncovered. And so, I issue a call to action to all who have joined us on this journey, a call to continue the quest for knowledge, to preserve and protect the treasures of the past, and to ensure that the legacy of Egyptian mythology lives on for generations to come. But we cannot do it alone, my friends. We need your help, your support, and your passion to keep the flame of curiosity burning bright. So I urge you to subscribe to our channel, to join our community of like-minded explorers, and to share your thoughts and insights with us in the comments below. And as you do, I ask you to tell us where you are watching from, to share with us the richness and diversity of our global audience, and to remind us that the love for ancient Egypt knows no boundaries. For though we may come from different corners of the world, we are united by a common bond, a shared fascination with the wonders of the past, and a desire to uncover the truths that lie buried beneath the sands of time. So let us embark on this journey together, my friends, hand in hand and heart in heart, as we continue to explore the mysteries of ancient Egypt and unlock the secrets of its mythological heritage. And may our shared quest for knowledge lead us ever onward, guiding us through the darkness and into the light, where the wonders of the past await us, and the promise of discovery beckons us forth.